welcome to Through the Filming Glass, the show where we love TV and movies more than our brothers, our mothers, and frankly, our lovers. I'm your host, Greg Chalmers, and today we'll be talking about the following. Is television becoming the art form of choice for audiences as opposed to film? And should filmmakers be worried about losing viewers to shows such as Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and Orange is the New Black? We'll be hearing your views on all of that, as well as whether you think Hollywood is running out of ideas. Universal's recent announcement that they'll be rebooting their entire monster movie franchise sparked concerns here at TFG that Tinseltown might just be losing its grip on originality. And finally, we'll be taking a quick sneak peek at some of the very latest film releases, so stay tuned. First though, let's welcome our first guest. It's Colleen Malone.
Hi.
Hi Colleen, it's very lovely to have you here.
Thanks.
We've got ever so many questions to ask you, Colleen. But first, let's start with an easy one. What is your very favourite film genre and why?
I love horror. I will stick to that forever.
There's a solid preference.
Yeah, I like the thrill of being scared, and I like the
You're
horror.
a braver woman than I.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
in
thank
more
you.
ways than
Thank you very
one.
much. Yeah, I like the way that horror actually can go deeper than just like scaring people.
Exactly. Well, people overlook it, don't they? Because they think it's just people sort of jumping out dressed in silly masks. But you can really do some interesting things with psychology.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd rather you didn't, because it scares things out of me. But yeah, freeze. Anyway, on that note, let's introduce our second guest, Mr. Jake Jackson.
Hello, Greg.
Hello, Jake. It's lovely to have you here as well.
Thank you.
I'm glad that we've got both of you. So, Jake, how do you feel about Hollywood these days? Do you think maybe they're losing their grip?
No, I still think it's that magical place. I think they have a firm grip.
A firm grip.
Firm grip.
A firm
Just
grip.
like good old Jon Snow.
Look at, yeah. Oh, there goes Deadpool.
Don't
It's
treat
fine.
Deadpool like that.
He's all right. He'll recover. But yeah, look at that, man.
Yeah, but I think
Firm grip.
Hollywood is still that magical place that kids
we
dream
dream
about.
of.
Yeah.
It takes you back to being a kid, doesn't it?
It does.
Everything's so magical and
Imagine walking onto like a big set, like Guardians of the Galaxy or
That'd be
something,
amazing.
like that alien world, and it's also
You
realistic.
rock up, there's a spaceship on your right, there's a tree on your left. Well, there wouldn't be a tree on your left.
CGI, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'd be the guy looking around for Groot all day.
I would. Can you
He's
imagine?
not going to be there.
The director's kids come on the set and they're all excited looking for Rocket the Raccoon. And then there's like a mannequin that's sort of roughly shaped like, and they're like, what have you done to Rocket? And then they sort of discover, and at that age, innocence is lost. Anyway, from that, we'll be hearing more from Jake and Colleen later on in the show. But first, 2014, a year of successful films such as Transformers, Maleficent, Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course, the flops and the washouts. The sci-fi drama Transcendence, that's the one with Johnny Depp, had a budget of roughly $100 million. I don't know how much that is in quid, but I imagine it is quite a lot of money. The thing is, it only made $3 million in profit. It's barely enough to buy a house in Hollywood, and certainly not one with a swimming pool. So it kind of begs the question, is film losing its touch? Could TV be about to take over? And there's new shows like The Flash and Gotham. They're from DC, and they might be about to challenge cinemas for audiences' hard-earned cash. But what do you think, guys? Have the movies had their day, in a sense?
No.
No?
No, they haven't.
No.
They haven't. No,
Solid disagreement
They
across the
haven't,
panel.
no.
That's good. We like that.
I do think TV is very strong, and it's probably the strongest it's been for a long time, because you've got shows like Game of Thrones, where not only does it look amazing, but you have these characters like Jon Snow. love Jon Snow. I keep mentioning him.
Again,
But you have
available
all
at all decent retailers, mainly Argos.
You have all of these like really, really great characters who like in a film universe, sometimes you don't get as good a characters as that. So
there's
TV
not enough
is strong.
time, is
Yeah,
there?
there's not enough time. Unless you like a big like Harry Potter maybe.
Yeah.
Like where you have like loads of film. Get your wand.
Yeah,
You have loads of films where like that happens, but do you think it's a split?
Well, this is it. I mean, you've just got so much more time in a TV series to kind of really develop characters, get invested in them. Like, people say Friends, you make friends with the characters. Friends is actually quite a good example. Like, I don't know, we didn't grow up with it, but I watched all the box set, and it's just like, you're so sort of, you feel like you know those characters. You feel like you know what they do, and they're like your mates, and it's great. I mean, maybe it's not so much on Game of Thrones, unless your mates are sort of incest queens and all this sort of I don't know, maybe they are. We might have a diverse panel today.
There's a lot of heartbreak in your life if you've Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Granny's died again. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's probably the main difference, I would say, between sort of television and film.
I think a TV series will like go over a long period, develop the characters, develop the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie is just that big box office sort of.
I think they both have their own strengths, and you can do either one really badly.
Exactly. I wouldn't say either one's like possibly stronger than the other, because like Age of Ultron, a film like that, I'll be the first person.
No, you won't. I'll be the first.
Greg, I'll be the first
person.
Person. Surprise, maybe.
We'll just be jammed in the door together.
But whereas other films I still wait for, whereas a TV show like Arrow, The Walking Dead, I will watch that as soon as it airs.
You like Arrow,
I
don't
do
you?
like Arrow,
You like
yeah.
it.
That's just the worst. I think with films, like it's all there in one, isn't it? Like,
Hold on a moment.
What's the worst?
I mean, the wait for TV, like in films, it's all there, isn't it? You have it all in like a couple of hours. But with TV shows, like I love The Walking Dead, and you have to wait like a week for like the next bit.
Well,
and
who doesn't love The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, who's your favourite character, Scott? I mean,
Daryl, obviously.
Yeah, Daryl's pretty good.
is that universal? Do we just like Daryl?
Daryl, considering he wasn't actually a character from the
No,
comics.
exactly. He wasn't in the comics.
He's brilliant.
Really?
And he's like one of the most favoured in the TV.
Oh, we've got some hardcore fans here.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
I know, we
ashamed
know
to say I've
ourselves.
not read the comics. I shouldn't be presenting this. We'll hand it over to them in a minute. I quite like Andrew Lincoln, I do.
He is.
And his accent's really good for it.
Yeah.
He's good.
Have you seen him when he's not on like Walking Dead?
I watched him first, right, in that
Yeah.
British thing he was
Oh,
in.
he was in Love Actually
He's in,
as well, wasn't
yeah,
he?
Love Actually.
A thing called Teachers, right, like on Channel 4, that he was in. No, genuinely, as like a supply teacher, and he was the lead in that, and he's so
Yeah.
different. I mean, there's no zombies for a start.
Brilliant actor.
Just horrible
Yeah,
Brilliant
he's
children.
really good.
They're fabulous, man. Well, there you have it, folks. A few mixed views here in the studio. But let's go outside to Simone with the public and see what you think.
Thanks, Greg. So we're here outside the forum at the University of Hertfordshire, and we have decided to ask some students whether they prefer film or TV series.
TV definitely competes with film.
There is so much going on in TV nowadays, and the TV programmes are becoming longer.
Nice is kind of repeating itself in modern day film, but in television they've got a lot more time.
I definitely think film, because film, when you go to the cinema, you go for the experience.
The quality of TV shows now is kind of coming towards what film is, like with Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and stuff like that.
So, maybe TV is becoming stronger, as film repeatedly sends us to the same universes. Marvel Studios is revolutionising cinema with their connected universe of films, and DC Comics have recently announced plans to do the same. Who knows if they'll be as successful. We're also going to be seeing new instalments in the worlds of Star Wars and Harry Potter too. But how long until everything we watch is part of a larger universe? Guys, what do you think?
I'm kind of torn between it. Like, I think it's quite a good idea in some ways, but like, I'm not a fan of Marvel, to be honest.
Well,
like, just saying.
We're going to walk.
But I can see, like, from people who love those films and like follow all the comics and
Yeah, the
are
ones that
really
dress
behind
up.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Which is
they'll,
all of us.
They'll love
Not
that.
good.
Like,
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, I think it will be a nice.
It's
A nice change
Yeah.
for
What
film
do you
world.
think, Jay? Are you sharing Colleen's views?
I do love the whole connected universe, but it's
Well,
because I'm a Marvel fan.
yeah.
But when you have Iron Man crashing down in some snowy place with a pared down suit, one phone call to Shield or Captain America
Yeah.
or the Hulk, and you don't have the situation like.
Exactly.
It's when it gets to that stage in the connected
It
universe
feels a little bit sort of strange,
where
doesn't
you feel
it?
a bit cheated that you haven't
Yeah.
got the characters anymore.
It's like, I paid my money, I want to see a big green Hulk.
Like you
God
kind
damn
of
it.
expect every film after that to be a like join up.
Yeah,
right?
no, I
and
know
then
what
you
you
get like
mean.
you get like Easter eggs and stuff.
You get
like,
spoiled.
Someone will say, oh yeah, this guy did this. Like, oh, he's from that other film. But you'd rather than be there and be
Exactly.
like, it feels so special that you don't want to lose that.
I know. Well, that's it. I mean, you want it, and then when it doesn't happen, it feels weird because you've got used to it. It's like, I mean, if you like Spider-Man, you know, I've really wanted to see Spider-Man in an Avengers film. It'll probably never happen because of Sony. Although, never mind. So, Universal recently announced that they'll be rebooting a ton of their classic monster movies: Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Mummy, to name but a few. But here's the kicker: this time around, all those creatures are supposed to fit into one single universe. Is that kind of shoehorning a step too far? What do we think?
I think if they do it subtly and then sort of, I don't want them to. If I was going to see it, I wouldn't want it blasted everywhere. Like, oh look, there's the mummy.
The
over
mummy
there,
just
like,
walks into a
appeared.
movie theatre and watches
exactly.
Dracula.
Like if they do like little subtle things, like little Easter eggs, like they do in Disney films, where
Oh, I
they put
see.
little.
So you think that the story of Frankenstein is way, like, it's so in depth.
Yeah,
There's
I
so much
forget we
goes
have an
into
expert
it.
on the panel, ladies and gentlemen.
I've read it.
Studied
I've read it.
Back in the day.
If you look at the Frankenstein story, you could not put the Frankenstein story with the Dracula story. Like they're two such
It's
large
so
characters.
different.
I just can't imagine the monster from
It'd be a
Frankenstein. and
collision of
Dracula.
mammoth
Can you
proportions,
imagine the
wouldn't
monster
it?
from Frankenstein
Yeah.
and
It'd
Dracula?
Too much.
It'd be
Like,
quite
that's-
unusual.
As cool as it would be, I just can't like imagine it happening.
It's very
like
unusual.
when you compare it to maybe like Alien vs Predator.
Yeah.
Like them two characters, I can imagine like.
Well,
fighting.
that's kind of a match made in heaven or hell, depending on what you think. But as Universal prepare to reboot their horror franchises, and with Halloween fast approaching, let's look at the history of horror in cinema.
Hi again. So it's time to get all dressed up for Halloween, and this means only one thing for cinema goers: more horror films. 2014 brings us the likes of Ouija, Horn, and Annabelle. You might think that these are only cheap, cash-in October films, but they have actually been entertaining us for years. George Méliès was the director of the first horror film ever. This was in 1896, which is quite a long time ago. The horror genre became an instant hit ever since. Spine-tingling novels of the time, such as Phantom of the Opera, Frankenstein or Dracula, were made into films. The horror film genre took a massive blow in the 80s though, as 72 different films were dubbed too horrific for the audiences. They were banned from the UK and branded as video nasties. Some of them will still never see a release. The genre survived the setback and now rakes in almost £60 million a year in the UK box office. Considering this genre being associated with quite a low budget, I think we can call this quite a scary profit.
So there you have it, folks, a brief history of horror in cinema. For this week's classic you might not have seen, we recommend George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, or alternatively, here's a look at this week's new releases. Kicking things off this week is Nightcrawler, the new film starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Bill Paxton. It's all about underground crime journalism in New York, which is not a topic that you make films about every day of the week.
Does sound good though.
It sounds good,
doesn't
doesn't
it?
it? Sounds original, so that's nice. And according to the reviews, this could be a great one for action fans. Second up is Ouija, which is not spelt remotely like how I'm saying it. But lacking any big name stars, the critics have been harsh on this one. They're singling out a lack of scares and poorly written protagonists as particular downers. Still, maybe there's hope for it yet. Could be more to it than meets the eye. Finally, for a Halloween release faring slightly better in cinemas, we have Horns. Receiving mixed reviews from critics, Daniel Radcliffe stars in this dark thriller, which tells the story of Ig, which is not a name, a man who must use his paranormal abilities to clear his name of murder. Guys, have you seen Horns? I hope so. Good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we couldn't have a panel discussion. But we can. I've not seen it, so because I'm very ill prepared for this. So do tell me about it. What did you think?
Not the biggest fan.
Oh, I can
still-
see Colleen
still-
saving up what she's going to say.
Still
I've
see,
got building up
still see Mr. Radcliffe as young Harry Potter.
Oh.
And fair
Exactly
play,
what he
fair
doesn't
play to him
want.
for trying to get different roles, but they're trying to mix the comedy and the horror
Yeah,
in this
that's
film.
divided audience.
Doesn't work. Have a good comedy, have a good horror. You can't
Yeah.
make something scary funny. I know.
Although, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
It's
but
what
is
you were
it-
going to
it's
say,
not
isn't
scary,
it?
is it?
It's scary in
Some
places.
people find it scary, but I think the comedy takes away from that, like you talked earlier. You don't have that thrill of being scared. Right?
I won't broke any criticism of Shaun of the Dead. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I love that film. Love it.
This is it though. Can Daniel Radcliffe really sell a film after Deathly Hallows, or would it be like watching Harry Potter with horns on? Don't know. No, you don't think so,
No,
Colleen. Tell us
because
your view.
People need to get over this sort of view of him as Harry Potter, and I think he did a really solid performance in Horns. He was really, really good. And I like that. Like, I've seen a few films since Harry Potter that he's been in, and he's done really well for himself. And
Okay, bit of a Radcliffe fan.
yeah.
He's got
I'm-
yeah, who isn't?
yeah, I'm proud of him.
I
for
do like
his
him.
work.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
He's pretty fabulous as a guy. Well, he seems all right, doesn't he, on Graham Norton? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm basing this
Just
off.
Graham Norton,
A far better talk show. This has been all right,
prefer
hasn't
you,
it?
I prefer you.
It's really interesting stuff, guys, but I'm afraid that's a wrap for another week. Thanks to my amazing guests for joining us and to you at home for watching. We'll be back next week for another journey through the filming glass. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye.